So welcome back to another video. So I don't know whether you've seen my short video of the rust on the the side skirt seal sort of it on the Mk1. So what I'm gonna try and do is sort that out. I mean, if you didn't see it, that is what I'm sort of left with. And it looks like it's had a repair there because there was loads of filler already in there, and you can see it's got that groove. So I'm going to try and sort that out as well and sort of build something up around here. But yeah, I ain't an expert on bodywork. In fact, I'm a complete amateur and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to have to replace them anyway, so I might as well have a go and try and learn something while I do it. Comment below what I've done wrong, or advice for next time, if there is a next time, stuff like that. But I might as well have a go. So what I have is this body repair kit for hulls. So it comes with some aluminium mesh and stuff like that, so I can sort of build like a little seal, and then fiberglass or whatever the stuff is, it comes in there, and sort of build it up. So that is what I'm going to use to do it. I have got some paint as well, and I've probably got some more over there on the shelf anyway. I mean, how this come about was, I was actually starting to take these, these plastic arch linings off, because I was getting ready to remove the front bumper to start putting the V6 bumper on. We'll start trying to put the V6 front bumper on. But then I noticed this, and this was proper filled with mud. All in here was proper filled with mud. So I just started doing this instead. But let's see what we can do with it.
So first things first was to literally get the Y wheel out on the area and just give it a nice little clean up and get rid of some of that surface rust.
So it's sort of cleaned up, but what I think I need to do is just cut these sharp edges off, and I wanted to keep that as a template to know where to go, so I might keep those still there, because when I put the mesh in, it's like a little guideline of where to fit it, so that might be okay to stay like that. But I think I need to just try and clean it up a little bit.
Next thing to do was to get the Dremel out and just try and cut some of those sharp edges off, and then get a file out just to finish cleaning that sort of area up.
So I've cut this little bit of aluminium mesh, which I'm gonna sort of feed in there somehow, and sort of, give it a lip sort of thing. Obviously it's gonna look tidy in that, but yeah. So that's the next step. I'm gonna put this in, and that will give us something for the filler to bond to. So I've got a bit of gear, just a bit of sealant really, just to hold this mesh in. So I put a bit of mesh in here, and I've sort of got this bit in here. It ain't looking too pretty, to be fair, but once it goes off I can probably bend it a bit more, because at the moment every time I move it, the whole thing just moves. So I need to sort of leave that in place for the moment and just use, I can just basically build up from this. I think it's one of those things, just leave it alone for the moment, let it dry, and then I can play around with it in a bit. Well, I'll probably leave that a good couple of days to harden out, and then we can start putting some filler and stuff on there.
3 days later.
So it's time to start mixing up some filler. Luckily in the kit it just literally comes sort of done, so you literally squirt a whole tube down and just follow the line on the A and B bits. And then I just started spreading it all over the mesh and all over that area. It's like a fiberglass sort of bit. I mean, this was the P40 sort of filler bit out of the kit. So I just literally got that everywhere. It was very messy to do. as I was putting this stuff on, I noticed some bits kept on falling off, so I had to keep on going back to that same area again. This stuff was a little bit of a nightmare to use, but we got it in the end. It didn't look too pretty, but we can sort that out. So now we got all of that all on that area where we need it, and it was looking a little bit like a Sonic the Hedgehog with all these little spiky bits hanging off. So I did go around this and start cutting these little bits off with a knife, just these little bits that were sticking out, all the spikes. So once I left it for around about half an hour for it all to harden off, I then started sanding it all back, just to sort of like start smoothing it all out. And as you can see, it was looking a lot better. We have some sort of shape there, but some imperfections still, but a lot better than what it did look earlier. And it was solid. So now back on with some more filler, the P38 filler now, like the final sort of filler. So now just slap that all on, all around the area, all where I need to, and in that dent. I already put some of that P40 in some of that little dent that we already had on the side, but you got to smooth it off with some of this stuff as well. So P38 in there as well, in all the areas, spreading it as well as I can. I'd rather put too much on than not enough, because I can always sand it back. But yeah, it's happening. We're getting somewhere. If you're enjoying these videos, why don't you give us a like, think about subscribing, and turn your notifications on. So now let's get on with doing the front bumper and putting that nice V6 bumper on. So let's get the old one off and out of the way. Right, so that is the front bumper off. So I do need to try the V6 one on and find out what we need to chop around, obviously around these pipes, this intercooler, obviously the other side. We might have to move this up, move this down, do something with it, cut these down, move these closer. I don't really know. Don't really know yet. We'll probably get an inch that way. But yeah, it's all fun and games. But I know you're supposed to change. These are different. Let's get some light. So these are different on the V6s, and I do have those. Let's have a look. There they are. Right, so these are the V6 ones, which are different. So they got to go on, so we've got to swap these out. That's for that one, that's for the other side. Just letting all this just dry off at the moment. I don't know how well that repair is going to come out, but it's better than how it was, and it will keep us going so we know what we're doing. I even thought about getting some like Vortex side skirts, like replicas, which are like literally go over the top of that. So even if that comes out bad, I can just get some of those painted and put some of those over the top, which will make it look a little bit wider as well. So these little mounts on the side were just held on by literally by 2 Torx. So nice and straightforward. So you whip those off and whip the new one back on. That's one side swapped over, so now I've got to swap over the other side. I think it's going to be safer just to remove the headlamps, which is just literally that screw, and that screw. We'll get those out. So now I was just doing a trial fit of the V6 front bumper, just trying to get it on. I knew it wasn't going to go on because the intercooler was in the way, but I just wanted to sort of get it hanging there so I could see what I needed to do. So now the front bumper was hanging in there, I could then start measuring up, taping down and marking out where I need to make my cuts. I could see sort of a line, like a little crease sort of line on the bumper, so I knew how far I could come out without, you know, sacrificing being able to put some grills in, because I do want to put some grills in. So once I started marking all that out, it was then nearly time to start cutting. So all the purists out there are going to hate me for this, so please look away if you do not want to see this, because this bumper is getting cut.